I will be brutally honest about it. When I first heard that Limbic Studios is working on a new game called Corsair Cove, I was kinda mad about it. You know, the studio who made Heroes of Might and Magic 6, Tropico 6, which then got immediately swapped out after the release for a new developer, and then last but not least, Beyond Park, which was alright, but that was about it. So when I heard, hey, here's a new game by us, I was like, okay, let's see what it is. Then I saw the trailer, and I was cautiously optimistic. Now, the demo is out, and my cautious optimism did go completely out of the window and was replaced by absolute happiness and delight. Corsair Cove seems like the city management game which tries to do something new, is succeeding in that, and then pushes further beyond. And man, the first thing you see in this game, and to make it very clear, by the way, this is not a review. I just played the demo, so this is more like a preview. But when you just look at the game, it looks so pretty, so much detail in the animation. The graphics are really, really pretty, as I said before. Runs also really well. I think I was running it on ultra settings, 4040p, and had 60 FPS the whole time. Yes, it's an Unreal Engine 5 game, but it's also not using Lumen or any of the crazy parts, as it seems. So that should help a lot of people. But I'm also a person who never had issues with Unreal Engine games. So when people are like, yeah, all the Unreal Engine games are not really running well on my PC, I was always like, can't say that. So yeah, for me, the game runs well, looks super pretty. I love the animation, the details in the water. I think I've never seen such a pretty water in a city management game or building game in general. Like even Anno has not such a pretty water in comparison with so many details. Like it just looks so pretty. And what I really loved also was when you were slowly building your city, they have different NPCs all over the buildings, right? When you build the same building over and over in those type of games, you will very quickly or immediately just see the same NPCs doing the same animation, looking the same. And that does happen, of course, in Corsair Cove at some point, but they have like a randomizer in there, and so we have different looking NPCs, and depending on the mood the city is in, the people will do different things, from partying, eating, drinking, fighting, shouting at each other, or when really push comes to shove, they are grabbing their pitchforks and torches and will go through your city and will make it clear that the situation has to change. Speaking about the situation has to change, the most important part is definitely the little cohesion thing you see in the middle. When that thing in the middle there is reaching 0, it's game over. Oh, wait, is this a city survival builder like Frostpunk? No. Nothing like that. It's not like the game is throwing like tough decisions at you and you are slowly but surely losing and you have to find a way out. It's more like a way of telling you, hey, your city is not doing well right now. You might want to check on it before this is really going bad. Right? Like that's kind of the thing they are doing here. Or they give you some events which give you some pretty big perks, and if you want to pay for that perk, right, you have to do that with the currency. And this is the way on how they want to make you make decisions, right? And you're not just spending like an infinite currency on all the big perks and make it too easy for you. You want to think, okay, do I want to get resources? Do I want to get maybe a new ship? Do I want to get more people in my city? What do I want? What do I need right now? And that limitation of that main currency is basically their way of just making sure that you are not overdoing it, which is completely fine. But yeah, it's not a city survival builder or by any means. And speaking about city building, let's talk about the biggest aspect this game has to offer, and that is, of course, the vertical building. So how does it do? Is it just a cosmetic thing? Is it just for looks? Like, does it really make a difference if I build on like the usual path on the ground or if I'm building on a cliff? At the beginning, you will not notice the difference. And that's good. It feels very natural. It feels also very slick, like just putting something you want somewhere at the wall, even between multiple buildings, feels so good. Like they could have screwed this up so badly, but the controls feel really, really good. And I'm happy about that. But no, at the beginning, you will not really notice a difference. But the longer the game is going on, you will. Because what you realize is logistics, right? Like all your production buildings have to move their stuff from A to B. And that means a person has to take what was produced and has to move it to the other building. And that takes time. And that means if you do not have like the right bridges and other things you can build to make people move quickly from A to B, or you just didn't really thought about it, your production will suffer. And it will suffer very quickly, and you will realize, why does it take so long till I get stone? I mean, I'm looking at my buildings, and my buildings are completely fine with the production. So what's going on here? And the answer is, well, you better look at the path they have to take to go from A to B and why this takes too long. Do you have enough warehouses nearby? Do you have maybe enough buildings nearby who need the stone? Like if you have your stone production super far away, but you have buildings who need that stone, then maybe you want to change that, right? So no, there is definitely an aspect to it which is coming up later. And another thing which I really appreciate, by the way, is it's activated at the beginning. It's the possibility whenever you build a building, it will automatically build the connections to the closest bridge or whatever, or to another building. And it does that automatically. And you might think, oh, doesn't that make everything super easy? Didn't you just talk about how important it is to like build good connections and all that? And now the game is just doing it for you? Why is that a problem then? You see, the problem is not so much that the game is not doing it right. The problem is the game is doing it too well. So when you put down a building, it will try to connect all the connections a building has to all the other connections which are available. So even if you're just putting down a little tent for your people who want to have like a place to live, it will try to connect like all the 3 to 4 different exits to all the other areas. And you do that 4 or 5 times, and your city starts to look absolute hideous. Like, you want to make your city not only be efficient, but also look good, right? You don't want to have 20 different bridges connecting all to the same building and they take all the same time. It doesn't do anything for you and it looks ass. So at some point, I actually started to realize that, and I started to not use the auto connection anymore. There is an option where you can deactivate that, or what they also thought about, they have a lot of quality of life stuff here in this game. You just have to hold control while you are putting down a building, and then it will not use the automatic connection for that particular building. And I was like, whoa, hey, that's pretty cool. It's like an option. Nice. So I really enjoyed that. But in general, I have to say the city building reminds me very much of Tropico. But before you're not thinking, uh-oh, are we talking about Tropico 6 at the release? Because that was pretty ass. No. Limbic really learned from their mistakes. Or look, I had always the feeling that the Limbic games they made were not their own, right? They made games for bigger publishers or publishers in general, and it was never their baby. And now they have this game, which is 100% their own. And even though, yes, Hooded Horse is the publisher, of course, but they are not like, it's not like Ubisoft or something like that who did go to them and was like, hey, make us a Heroes of Might and Magic. And you really feel that. This game, I would say, is the culmination of all the mistakes they made before and what they have learned. And this time, they really put their heart and soul into it. And you just feel that all the time. And I really enjoyed my time. I actually had to stop myself playing the game because, demo doesn't transfer over, yada, yada, yada. So I was just like, yeah, I wait for the release impatiently, but that was fun. Now, there is a second thing we have to talk about. And this is the wild card in this preview. So there is sailing in the game. There are adventures in the game. But before thinking, oh, is it like Anno? Is it like Windrose? No, nothing like that. Yes, you build different ships. There are tons of different ships in the game, which all have their different stats and all that. And then you have to put a captain in there, which is one of the legendary pirates like Blackbeard, aka Teach, right? You can have Blackbeard as a pirate captain, and they will also bring their own stats and their own playstyle to the ship. But the moment you read through those stats, you're like, wait, what is this? This reads like a turn-based combat card game because it is. You might see it here in the background. It really is that, right? When you have an event going on, you are there with your ship. You have the crew members and your hull. And when one of the two disappears or is depleted, it's game over, right? That's it. You lost there. Well, it's not game over, but it's the end of the event and you lost. And then you have, of course, your third currency, which is just your mana or action points, right? And depending on how much you have, this is what you can do till you have to refill them and which cards you can use and which abilities you can use. And when I first saw it, I was very confused because I didn't expect this in this type of game. And it felt a bit, I don't know, it felt a bit weird. I had to do a few more of those events and fights to really get behind the idea that this is a turn-based roguelike-esque card battler. It was definitely pretty weird, and it felt a bit out of place. Because I will be honest, some studios would have made this game its own game, right? They would have taken the card battler and would have just said, no, this is its own game. So you now have two games in one, and that can work out, and that can be pretty amazing, or it might not. And I'm a little bit afraid of the or it might not. I was more into the city building aspect. I will completely admit that, and I found the card battle system a little bit disrupting because you have to think about it, right? It's not just click every button and something will happen. You have to think about it, and it definitely takes you out of the okay, I have to do this to continue the story or get something really important for my city, but this is not really what I'm here for, right? So I'm not really 100% sure how I feel about it yet. I'm not despising it, I'm not liking it, but I'm definitely wondering after like 20, 30 hours if maybe this will get into the way of the city builder. And for that, I have, of course, to play the full game. But with that said, we are at the end of my preview. I definitely look forward to play the full game, like 100%. And there will be a review about it and live streams and all that, as always, here on the channel. If you want to check out my demo live stream, it is here under the live category, if you want to do that. You just have to skip a little bit ahead because I yapped too much at the beginning. But yeah, check out the demo yourself. I definitely recommend it. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. Also, please, if you were new to the channel, you love strategy games, like all the strategy building and management games, you definitely should subscribe because that's what we are focusing on here on the Mole Under Management channel. And I so appreciate you being here. With that said, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.